Hello bearded bee people, welcome back to B&K Today I've already been out to a yard, and in fact that yard is not finished, so I'll be out there again here in a few minutes. But in the meantime, I am getting ready to oxalic acid blast some hives. And I know I've had quite a few questions about my vaporizer, but I'd rather call it a sublimator because that's the more accurate term for it. But yeah, I figured I'd make a video on it. So this is called the VM Vaporizer Mini model. It's awesome. It really blasts out a lot of vapor, and it's real quick and super easy, and I don't have to have any types of batteries or generators or anything like that. It runs off of a small propane tank, like a little camping propane tank. I need to get a new one, and a torch. So I'll show you how this works. Hook in the torch. And we're gonna crank it on and light it. And we're gonna let that preheat for a few minutes. Alright, so the general concept is with oxalic acid, you just want to fill the box with a bunch of vapor. It's real gentle on the bees, incredibly gentle on the bees, and it kills all the mites that get these oxalic acid crystals on them. And that means that it's not going to affect the mites that are underneath brood cappings, but that's okay. We're using it in that knowledge. We're aware of that fact, and so for that reason, we're going to do this 3 times over the course of the next 3 weeks on the hives that we're using this on. We're not using it on hives that have honey supers on them, but every other hive that we have is getting this this month. Okay, so I know I wasn't able to get any great footage using the oxalic acid sublimator, and the reason for that is it's kind of, you know, taking all of the hands, and you kind of have to hurry up. Like, you drop the crystals into the sublimator and they start vaporizing, and so you have to get that stuff into the hive. So one of these days I'll do an actual like how-to video, but like I said, the idea is just that we blast the entire inside cavity of our non-honey hives with the oxalic acid vapor, and then when that vapor gets into those hives and it cools down, it crystallizes and kind of condenses all over every surface inside the hive. And when those surfaces include varroa mites, those little bastards die. So it's super easy, it's super cheap. The device wasn't cheap. The device was about $700, but the crystals that we put into the device are cheap as heck. So a lot cheaper than formic acid strips. But like I said, they're good for what they're good for, and you got to understand what they're good for. You can't just use it and say I treated. You got to realize that it's treating about, 40 to 60% of the mites inside the hive, and just be aware of all that and do your mite counts throughout the year, and it's a good tool to have at your disposal. So I have gone through, there are 5 pallets of bees down that way, and I've gone through that one, and I have this, and this to do. I had to leave earlier because I had to bring some queens to the post office. Oh, and there goes my tripod. Piece of crap. Okay, so what I'm doing out here is expanded brood nests. I really, really, really want all of these hives to be filling double deeps by the end of July so that I can split them all back into singles, kind of double my money sort of thing. So I'm putting food on them, and I'm spreading the brood nests out. In the next couple weeks, I'll probably end up equalizing to some extent to kind of bring some of these stragglers up to par. And this has got to be a straggler or an abscon. Oh, there's no bees in there. Fantastic. There's no bees in there. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm looking at. So I had a few stragglers out here. That one being one. It had a tag on it that said feed, and that was about a month ago. I've probably been out here twice over the last month. I know I fed it when it said feed. I fed it twice since then, but they were stragglers, and now they is no mas. Which happens with stragglers. This is usually the time of year where I stop keeping stragglers. I would just add it to another colony, and to be honest, I should have done that, but I was still of the mind that I put some food on them, maybe they'll catch up, but they didn't. Alright, now this one that looks pretty decent. It's obviously ready for another box. What I'm going to do is give them food, and I'm going to put this blank one right in the center. The extent of my inspections today have been just pulling out the center frame. But I'd like to see eggs though. So that one had just capped brood. Not a whole lot of food. These hives are light. I have not been out here often enough, but I'm usually not having to feed 8 frame hives. Okay, all types of eggs on that side, and on that side as well. So yeah, I'm usually not having to feed 8 frame hives throughout the middle of June, but the rain and all that has made that a necessity, and my massive workload has made me not the greatest in terms of getting the food on these babies. So I'm giving them that frame in the center of their area, their brood nest. give them a gallon or so, and then I'm just going to put another box right on top. Not going to move any frames up to the new one. Let them do that. Let them do. Okay. Next time I get out here, then I'll start considering grabbing some frames from the lower box and bringing them up to the top. But like I said, they pretty light, so they don't have a great ability unless there's something blooming like crazy that I don't know about. They don't have a great ability to make a whole lot happen in that box right this second. I mean, there's honey plants out now, there's tons of them, but none of them are really big hitters. The locusts, I think, are dying down, and the sumacs are real close to popping, and the basswoods are real close to popping. So all that stuff will help quite a lot when it does happen, but for right now, they've just been kind of dealing with a lot of rain and not a whole lot of nectar coming in. Okay, so they are largely ignoring those last 3 on that side. Not going to add another box. I am going to check, see if they're queen right. Because they aren't very centrally located, like they're spread out all the way across this box, and that doesn't indicate to me that they have a hardy brood nest, but the look of this frame would indicate that. So I was wrong. But what I mean by that is, usually where there's a brood nest, you'll see the bees kind of defining it more directly, as opposed to being kind of spread out and not really densely populated over that one specific area. But this one looks good. This will be looking a lot better in a week or so. Give them some food, let them use that to do some stuff to this frame I'm giving them. Okay, so this one has a tag that says supersede your cells, and that was on the 29th of May. So it's been 23 days since then. So they should have a laying queen by now. Let's find out if that's the case. Okay, well, lots of captive brood, lots of eggs. That's a good looking hive. That is a testament to the importance of understanding what queen cells you're looking at. Because had I just seen those cells and said, oh, they're going to swarm, and I would have made a split or something or pulled those cells, well, then we wouldn't have gotten back in here and seen these nice solid sheets of brood. We'd have gotten in here and seen a colony on its last legs, or a queenless colony that was unable to do what they were supposed to do because you took out their queen cells and they'd already killed their queen. And so yeah, be mindful of all the things that go on when they're making cells. Like if they're swarm cells, there's going to be more than 2 or 3, and the box is going to look swarm ready. And there's going to be a bunch of other cues as well, including sheets of capped brood, probably a lot of nectar, drone cells, queen cups all over the place. All those things are indications of a hive that's getting ready to swarm. 2 or 3 cells in 7 or whatever, 6 frame hive or whatever it was when I wrote that on, doesn't indicate in any way to me that they were going to swarm. So, you know, you just kind of let them figure it out, because they have a better idea of the quality of their queen than you do, because you can't smell the queen mandibular pheromone coming off that queen, and they can measure it to a fine, precise degree. So they have a great understanding of how their queen is doing and how she's likely to continue to do throughout the rest of the year. So just let them figure it out when they've got those few cells sitting on anywhere on the frame. I don't pay too much attention to where is this cell, unless it's hanging directly off of the bottom of a frame, in which case it is indicative of a swarm cell. Okay, so this one's going to get a box. Be right back with that box. Okay, so this one says supersedure cells as well on that same day. Let's see if it's a similar story. Okay, so it's not a similar story in the population, but I think I see brood in there, so in that regard it would appear to be a similar story. Alright, brood. Eggs and young larvae. Fantastic. Notice I'm pretty much indiscriminately, doesn't really matter on the size, giving them a frame in the center of the brood area. I mean, it's late June. We don't have to worry about the temperature anymore. Plus, these cells, these capped brood frames are going to emerge any day, and I just really want them to start building up now, because like I said, hopefully in a month or so I can have these ladies filling out 2 boxes. In 6 weeks I want to have these ladies filling out 2 boxes so that I can split them into 2 singles. I'd like to do that to this whole yard. This whole yard and one other yard. So I'd like to make 60 single splits at the end of July. Okay, so this one says feed. Some angry bees flying out at me. Okay, I see why it said feed, because they aren't the strongest looking colony in the world. I can see brood right there though. Yeah, you guys can't really see it. It's right in there. Whatever. I see tops of capped brood cells. So that's good. Looks like I've got a blank frame right here I can check her in, as opposed to a completely empty frame, or a completely blank frame. And yet there's definitely, I'll show you. Brood. Okay, so I'm just doing the same stuff to these last 1, 2, 5 colonies. So I will save the battery life because I think I'm going to make a couple other videos. But either way, thank you very much for watching. Get out there and have some fun with your bees. See ya.